It's still morning, isn't it? I think it is, yep. So we still got about 12 minutes left in the morning before it becomes afternoon, and I wanted to welcome you all to another reading. I deeply apologize for not having one last week. I was working pretty much straight through. So I had Saturday, and then I didn't get another day off until the Saturday live stream. So I hope that things were okay with you. I hope you were able to use the one from the week before to kind of, seize those opportunities and move into the next week. And that's really what it was about. Today is going to be a little bit different, because the 6-day week may happen again. In fact, I know it will. I don't think it's going to be this particular time at work. I will be off on Tuesday, so I will be delivering yet another reading then, and I hope that you will join me for that. Something I've noticed kind of going on lately, a lot of people trying to control other people, trying to control what they think, how they think, what they do, all using that whole true argument, which I roundly reject. I'm sure some of you remember that. If you're my age, you certainly will. Well, no true comics fan would ever read that. No true fan of literature would ever consider this author to be anything of the sort. Those kinds of arguments. And if you found yourself in a little social circle of people like that initially, well, you'd find yourself pretty much cast out after disagreeing with them, wouldn't you? But let me put something in front of you. If you truly enjoy something, and it was in the same vein as those enjoying just music, for example, why should anyone dictate to you what you should and should not enjoy? Let me tell you something. Life's too short for that. In my opinion, you should just say, whatever, and dismiss and move on. I've noticed this argument quite a bit lately. The descending armor class versus ascending armor class. That one's been going on that's been making the rounds lately. Personally, I've pretty much stayed out of it. But the basic expert, John, my man over at his channel, did a video on it. And if you're in the tabletop RPG circles, I recommend you go watch it. It's very, very good. I did write an article. There was one thing that I disagreed with him on, and I stated it. You can check that out on my Substack. Everything is in the link tree down below. For once, I'm not sitting there trying to... One moment. Let me go take care of this. Oh my God.
3179 431 Nationwide.
Nice job of taking us out of the whole reading, huh? Yeah, you gotta love those spam callers. They just don't stop, do they? But let's get down to it. As I've always stated, I do have a link tree in the description down below. In it, you will not only find my wish lists, you will also find my social media, so come hang out with me, wherever you find me. You can find channels, you can find everything. If you can't find me on the internet, you're not looking hard enough. It's just that simple. Alright? Also, this is what a full-scale reading would look like, so if you want one, yes, wish lists are in the description down below, or in the link tree down in the description down below. Feel free to hit up that. If you send me something, I will also give you readings. And as I've said, since inflation is kind of ramping up, and I understand if you do not want to do it, I am now giving 4 readings and a birthday reading for anything $35 and under, and I'm giving, 7? So 7 readings and a birthday reading for a total of 8 for anything over $35 that you send me. Okay? You send me a little gift, and I will make sure it's the gift that keeps on giving back. That's just how it is. Now, If you just want to send me something because you like something I wrote on Substack, well then that's an option as well. Just make sure that you are clear in which one you would like to do, and make sure you include a name so I can personally thank you. And if that is not anything you can do right now, I totally understand. It's not required at all. In fact, the only thing I would really ask, if you want to help out this channel, whether it's on YouTube, BitChute, CloudHub, Rumble, or Odyssey, I can't believe I rattled all those off. Just hit that like, share, share it out with a friend. Maybe a friend needs to hear this or something like that. Do that. Those are the biggest ways you can help, and they're all free. So, let's get down to it. By the way, if I owe you readings, hit me up. Let me know. Okay, we'll see what we can set up. Anyway, starting with us, we are... what are the odds he would pop up again on Thursday? So my question is, are we still in a rut? Are we still needing to be that storm right now? Are we still trying to find that midpoint between extremes? I think we are. How are we being guided is the question. We have the hulls, and there's Thor again. He is just popping up everywhere, isn't he? So we know something, that the storm cannot consume you if you are the storm. And if you're willing to really go out there and make those sacrifices, maybe you're getting out of your comfort zone a little bit, then that would be a great thing, because there will be some reward yielded later. It might be deferred. So that's where it's going to take a little patience. But it's, now's a good time to grind away. You will break out of that rut one way or the other. That's going to be totally up to you how you do it, though. In nature, we're looking, oh my goodness, again, we're looking at a deer spirit. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know I shuffled these cards, and we're getting many of the ones that we saw last time. As a matter of fact, I do not have my phone with me, which I should, because I kind of need that. Needed to take the picture later. Where did it go? Well, crud. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I do have it. Here we go. In the last reading we did, I think these three cards were the ones that came up. As a matter of fact, I gotta go back and look. Nope, we had a bee spirit. We did have Thor, but we actually had a rune that popped up. But anyway, we were guided to see to our needs. And this time we're told, even though we have to become that storm so that we are not consumed by, we really have to be gentle. Gentle rains make great rose bushes, they make great flower beds. A storm tends to tear everything up. So that's where we're kind of looking at. Those sacrifices, they're going to come with just being a little gentle. And Peter Cullen's brother, Peter Cullen is the voice of Optimus Prime in the cartoon Transformers and the movies. And he was very excited to get this role, and he told his brother, who was a Marine, he said, I got this role. And he's like, what's the character? Well, he's a truck. Oh, he's a truck. Yes, but he's a leader truck. And he said his brother just kind of looked like he was thinking about it for a second, and he went, if you're going to be a leader, be strong enough to be gentle. And it looks like that's exactly what we're coming up on right now. Mentally, how are we doing? Well, we got Judgment in reverse. We've got a Nine of Wands, and we've got the Eight of Swords. So right now, we're not thinking that it's time to emerge. We're not thinking that this is going to be the time for us to, we're biding our time. That's what this is. Remember when I talk about patience. Patience is a great virtue to have, and I think we could all stand to just, relax a little bit and maybe get a little bit of that in for ourselves. Now, we come from a place of reconciliation and redemption. Some of us are a little raw from certain things. And that is completely understandable. It's okay to be raw from people who have wronged you. However, there are times where you're going to have to understand, hey, you know what, maybe going after them is not such a great idea. It's not so hot. So, this is kind of the question that I'm having. And it comes from this Nine of Wands. And we can see he's obviously taking a risk, but he is still ever watchful. So these potential obstacles that you're looking at that are in your way right now, where do they come from? That's something that has to be examined right now, because in reality, our problems are not quite as, hostile as we make them out to be. It just takes us kind of breaking away a little bit and realizing that the bad news is we put ourselves in this position. The good news is we put ourselves in this position, we can get ourselves out. Now, in the physical, I've got a Queen of Swords, I've got a Nine of Coins in reverse, and we've got a Ten of Swords in reverse. So, this is where you need to start asking questions. If you think someone is lying to you, you may be right. This is where you cut through 9 layers of the bullshit. I think this is probably the most effective card here. Now, again, you can be very forceful and you're absolutely lying to me. I think that what you said was full of crap. Or you could begin asking questions, but they have to be good faith questions. You're going to watch as the person who's lying to you will crumble under that pressure. They can't stand it. One of the methods I like to employ is sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes if I think someone's lying to me, I'll be like, what makes you say that? Or why do you say that? Well, what makes you think that way? I'm genuinely curious here. What's going on? Keep going till you get to the heart of the matter. Now, got this Nine of Coins in reverse. This is not completion. Ladies and gentlemen, if you feel like those who may be employing you right now are getting a little out of sorts, maybe they're just piling way too much on you. I just heard of this thing. Well, actually, I've heard of it before, but I got it explained to me yesterday. The quiet quitting, where you're just doing your job. Now, if you're in a spot where you think your employer may be lying to you, it may be time to kind of get to the bottom of that, or it may be time to find something else. But right now, if you're looking at your job and you're going, you know what, I'm not getting paid enough for this, you're feeling like you're not getting what you're worth, then I would start looking at your situation first, because you can change your situation. You can say, I'm not getting paid enough. Why? How are you not prospering? Are you spending more than you're making? Are you budgeting things out correctly? You need to take in your own personal discipline first. Then you can move on to the other things. And this one, the Ten of Swords. This is the Who'd You Piss Off Rasputin card in the Rider-Waite tarot, that is. Normally you'd see a guy pinned to the ground with swords, all up in his back. Are you feeling a little bit of a sense of betrayal? It could be yourself betraying yourself. But if you're feeling that sense externally, it's probably a good idea to get very quiet and start examining why. Let me tell you something. Do you know that if you're completely anonymous, if you're truly just faded into the background, if you think, I am not being noticed, that could be a superpower. Because then you can just watch. You can watch and you can get yourself a little notepad and a pen and you can just take notes as things go, whatever you see, you just kind of write it down. And then if something happens to you, you break that out. There's your hammer. And you can gently remind people, hey, wait a minute, hold on now. I've seen this, that, and the third happen. You're going to come at me with this? I don't think so. So you can turn that betrayal around and kind of get yourself out from under it. Spiritually speaking, we've got a hermit, we've got the moon, and we've got a Six of Wands. Really, it is time to, total. This is your dark night of the soul right here. This is going to have to be a lot of introspection on your part. You're going to have, we understand it's a very scary and dark time, but your way is not completely pitch black to you. You know exactly where to go. You know where all the important things are. You know how to hit them. And that winner circle, that's victory assured. Of course, that is in your spiritual column here. That's not in anything else. So it's time to kind of go back to the spiritual. When I talk about spiritual, I'm talking about yours personally. Now, what is it? Have you been slacking off on any ritual lately? Whether that's going to church or just your early morning gratitude exercise, something like that. If you've been slacking off on that, it may be time to get back in the game. And I would assure you, doing that is a good idea. Let me tell you something. Spirituality is great, but if it doesn't have a religious framework to it, you're kind of just wandering aimlessly. And you need that structure, because that structure, doing it over and over again, makes you disciplined. And discipline is going to be everything, especially right here. All three of these are pointing right here. You need to cut through your own bullshit. Quit kidding yourself. Are you truly worth what you think you are? Examine that, because if you can come to the point where you can be honest with yourself and say, maybe I've been slacking off a bit, then at least you can set that to rights. That's something you can set to rights. And now you've got a better edge on those who don't. You see what I'm saying? And I think that makes a lot of sense. Let's go to the Sacred Light Oracle. See what's going on here. We've got a Heathen Fire Serpent. We have a light body. And we have spirit guides. So, are you seeking a higher path? Are you really being driven to that right now? Because you've been thinking about it. You've been thinking about it a lot. Now, you're going to need some discernment there. Remember what I talked about where it's, you think someone else is bullshitting you, but you may be bullshitting yourself? That's true. And that Heathen Fire Serpent is going to help you figure out exactly which one. Coming up in the mind column, that's actually a lot of help. Now, a light body in the physical. So, independence is what this means. You have to understand that you are king or queen of your world, and but that comes with responsibility. You have to take control over that. And by control, it means you can't control what anyone else is doing. And you're going to have to come to that fact really, really quickly. You are going to have to take your throne and take all the responsibility. They say heavy is the head that wears the crown. And there's a lot of responsibility that goes with that. But if you want that independence does bring some comfort. That you don't have to answer to someone else. You're not beholden to another. That is most important to you, isn't it? Well, it's time to do that. And the past restrictions, you're going to have to shed those. And it's going to bring an ancestral healing, because then you will be able to understand what your own ancestors went through. By the way, if you're not on speakermindhere.com, you could come over there and hang out with me. Now, spirit guides. You're looking for signs. You got philosophical discussion and some supervision. Supervision, or which means you're going to have to tap into that intuition of your own a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, my own work schedule has been so wonky lately, I haven't been able to even bring you a weekly reading. Sometimes it's a bi-weekly reading, sometimes it's 2 readings a week. Now, when called on to do a personal reading, those are different. Let me tell you how. It's not what you give me. What it is those can be scheduled, and then I can deliver them at just about any time I have free time. And I don't a lot, but I still make that free time for you, because I understand that I have a responsibility to you, and I need to get that done for you. You have questions and you need answers, and I'm here to give you a means of getting those definitive answers. Okay, this is a stepping stone on the path to that. These are not the answers. You have to decide what to do with that information. So it is very much your responsibility. But you have the ability, you have the same ability I do, to tap into your own intuition and use it. Trust your gut feelings sometimes. They will never lead you astray, okay? For your runes, we do have Ansus. We've got Gabo. And we've got Algies. Ooh, wow. Now, we equate Ansus with breath or communication. You are going to have to speak very clearly, very calmly, what it is you want to manifest in the world. That is done. If you do not believe me, let me tell you something. You're here. You're here now, whether you've been rocking with us from the beginning or whether you're just joining us now. You are here now because I kept speaking. Whatever it was I spoke on brought you here. And yes, you're more than welcome here at any time. But you're going to have to tap into your gifts. Those things that you're just really in, your innate talents, those things that you really, you were born with, you feel in your soul, you're going to have to develop those. Get them into gear. Every moment of your life led to this. Now the question is this. Did you build or did you not? If you did not build, it's time to start. Develop those gifts, develop those talents, whatever they are. Okay? Algies, this is about protection. Sometimes the protection is not like right then and there. This protection's implied. This means that you are going to have to take measures to protect yourself. So whatever that is, whether that's writing things down, whether that's just being quiet and observing, or whether it's sometimes calling out what needs to be called out. You have to protect yourself, and you have to do that properly. You have to make sure those safeguards are in place. But that protection is your responsibility, not the responsibility of someone else, okay? Now, while we are about calling it out, calling it as we see it, we also have to be very aware that that deer spirit is still there. We need to be very gentle about it. Some people are going to reject you completely out of hand simply because you're speaking about something that they do not like. They don't want to hear. They don't care to hear it. Let me tell you something. If I don't care to hear what you have to say, I'm just going to not even bother with you. It's true. You're going to have to come from a place of empathy. This is, you have to be strong enough to be gentle. It doesn't mean you have to coddle people. You can still speak fact. You can still manifest that. But it is going to mean your approach has to be one where people perceive it, and that's what it is about. It's about perception. They're going to have to perceive it as you're coming from a place of empathy. That sacrifice that you make to your, I don't know, how can I put this? I would think it's going to be responding rather than reacting, and there's a difference. A response is simply that. It's, okay, you've said this, and as I understand it, here's this counterpoint, and that's fact. Reacting would be, I can't believe you said that, and you're just going at them. You see what I'm saying? We need a lot more responses rather than reactions. If you want reactions, go check out like Cinebinge or You, Me, and the Movies or CinemaSins. Those are reactions to movies. That's a reaction. Responses, on the other hand, they come much more gently. And even when they're not favorable, sometimes they're actually useful. So, ladies and gentlemen, as a matter of fact, I'll tell you about a reaction I heard last night. I was listening to a podcast, and it was an interview with one of the characters, because this podcast is like a sort of an anthology series. And one of the people who played a character is being interviewed on the podcast, and I think COVID was going on at the time, and both the person being interviewed and the interviewer started saying COVID, COVID, COVID. And, oh, by the way, if you don't wear a mask or you don't want to be vaxxed, well then just don't come here or go to another planet. I immediately skipped forward. I would hear no more. And that was my response to it. This is my response to it right here. I've said it before, take your precautions. I'm not your doctor. But my immediate reaction was, I don't want to hear any more of this. This is not what I'm here for. And I swiped on to the next thing. I just swipe on, like now I skip every like Q&A or interview. I just don't care. All I want is the story now. And if I can get that, that's fine. Just how it is. I know some people are out there that are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. Disagree all you like. I don't have any dog in that race. It's not my business. It's not my responsibility. Thank goodness for that. Kind of a long-winded bit of me rambling there, but that's what it is. Respond rather than react. You need to be able to discern which is which. You need to be able to look at yourself in the process and then go from there. I think your responses will be more valued than your reactions. Okay? Oh, that was kind of a long one. Thank you so much for joining. Just remember, I love you all, and what I'm telling you comes from that place. Just take care of yourselves, and then take care of each other. Always do what lights you up. And as always, shine on.